Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Slow Run Cast. That's right, you heard that right. The Slow Run Cast. We are all about playing games slow. We're not trying to break any records or anything. We play whatever we want on our own time, if we even have the time at all. I am one of your anti-speedrunning hosts, the Iraqi Balboa, Muhammad Ali, joined by my friend and co-host, and now father to another cute doggo, the Derwinator, Derwin Luke. How's it going, my friend?
Oh, not too bad. I think we're both very slow on games this week. It's been pretty
busy,
crazy.
Busy, man. How's the new dog? What'd you name it?
Oh, it's her. I'll actually have her in my lap.
Oh, look at that.
I'll post some pictures for whoever's watching on YouTube, but she's tiny. She's 4 pounds. Yeah. Super cute, just sitting in my lap whole podcast. So,
what's your other dog's name?
My other dog is Eddie.
Eddie, how's Eddie doing with the new one?
Oh, he's avoiding her like the
plague. No way.
Yeah, I don't think he's great with puppies. But
how old is Eddie now?
Oh, he's like 5 or 6. He's a senior dog now.
He's a full grown adult and some.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. Why did you want to get a new one? What?
I've been wanting one for a while now, and then my friend got one. I took a look while I was at work, and then we actually picked her up right after work. So
she's so cute.
Yeah, within a day. Maisie is her name.
Maisie. How old is she? Just a month or two?
Yeah, she's 10 weeks old or so. Yeah, she was born August 20th.
Nice. What's the breed on it, or is it a specific breed, or is she a little mixed?
A mix, so Chihuahua and Dachshund mix.
Nice.
Yeah, wiener dog. So
yeah, I'm not a fan of Chihuahuas, but whatever she's mixed there with makes her really, really cute.
Yeah.
How
about yourself? How was your week?
My week's been busy, man. Busy with work. It's been busy last month here at work, but we're getting close to the end of construction season, so I'm gonna have time to catch up on some gaming. To be honest with you, it's not that it stopped. Basically, what gets sacrificed is sleep. That's what gets sacrificed. Gaming
You're doing some degenerate stuff this week. I heard.
Man, I've been doing some degeneracy. Yes, sir. I need to catch up on some sleep. But that Call of Duty dropped, and we'll get to that later in the show. But, whew. Yeah, man. I'm running on a lot. I'm running on less than the recommended hours.
Yeah, a lot of Red Bull. I see.
Red Bull, baby. Red Bull gives you freaking... I don't know, man. Red Bull's just keeping me alive right now. All right, man. Let's get right into it, man. So we had a lot of stories. I don't think anything really crazy, but some exciting news. So Super Smash Bros. Creator, who is, of course, if you don't know, Sakurai, he is making a new game. And this is... so basically, he had a YouTube channel over the last 2 years where, like, after Smash Bros. Ultimate dropped, that would have been 2019 or 2020. 2019, I think.
2019, I think. It was right before COVID.
Yeah, like December. Yeah, right before COVID, yeah. So he had like a YouTube channel. I don't know about this YouTube channel's existence, to be honest with you. I haven't watched anything on it. But he was having like videos of him like working, and then it turns out they were all like pre-recorded videos. Because he just literally drops like a video saying, yeah, I look older in this video. Because everything I've been dropping on YouTube for the last 2 years was like pre-recorded. And yeah, so he's working on a new game. Yeah, man. What are your thoughts?
I think it'll be very interesting. He's been toiling with Smash Bros. Forever. So I think it'll be a breath of fresh air for himself to get into something new, and probably something that he's been wanting to make for a while, because Nintendo really likes to really push their creators to just one avenue, and it's kind of hard.
But that's the question. Is this game Smash Bros. Or is this game something else? Is it another Smash Bros? Maybe it's a little bit too soon for Smash Bros, but then Switch 2 is coming around the corner.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a Switch 2 Smash Bros. And he said somebody contact. So he said like after
Yeah.
Smash Bros, somebody reached out to him or contacted him to write a script for a new game, right? But it wasn't clear if that was Nintendo or if it was another developer and what the
I
new
mean,
game is. Because this guy's been working on Smash
it
Bros for a
must be
long time.
Nintendo. There's no way.
But yeah, but what is it? What is it? That's the question. I just feel like Smash Bros Ultimate is so complete.
Yeah, it's kind of hard
Like, when are
to
you gonna
add more characters
top that?
and top it, right?
Yeah, maybe it'll be like a Switch 2 game. Maybe it's still early days. I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, it's just I just found I'm not the biggest Smash Bros guy. To me, Smash Bros is a
Oh, for
party game.
sure.
Like I don't play it competitively or anything, right? But the way he like dropped on YouTube, he's like, "Hey, I look a little
Yeah,
bit
he
older."
played everybody.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Got anything else about that? We'll see what happens, right? I don't really think there's anything else to say there. But in the same light, our second story, also related to Nintendo, is there's a new Nintendo Switch, well, maybe Switch, maybe Switch 2, that game that leaked and it was being play tested.
Yeah,
Like
and data mined
yeah,
by
yeah,
people.
yeah. And it like leaked right away apparently. Like Nintendo was serious about it not getting
Shutting
yeah.
down like all the Twitter posts about it.
Yeah, but so apparently it might be some type of MMO-ish game. Like I
Yeah,
was
that's
reading maybe like Animal Crossing MMO-ish type game or like almost like a Minecraft maybe even. I don't know.
yeah, I heard
But,
Minecraft. I don't know about the Animal Crossing aspect, but that will be kind of an
yeah.
interesting
I, w-
game.
I don't know if it's like Animal Crossing the actual Animal Crossing franchise and IP, but something in the line of like some type of resource collector, city builder or base
Yeah,
builder,
yeah.
something like that. Yeah. So I don't know, man. With Nintendo Online
Yeah.
Services.
They need to fix their online services
Yeah,
is
yeah,
the
yeah.
first thing that they
Oh
need to
yeah.
do.
So maybe this
You
is like
can't
a
run an MMO on like a hope and a prayer.
yeah. Maybe this is like a Switch 2 game or something.
Probably, right?
We
If
must.
Switch 2 is coming out potentially next year.
Man, we're getting close, bro. I've been saying Switch 2 is coming out this year for the last 3 years. It's gotta be. It's gotta be. I don't know. We'll see what
Yeah.
this is. You think maybe this is like a? Is there a possibility this is a Pokemon? Was I
I
reading
don't
that?
think so. It says but not Pokemon or Animal Crossing. So I think this might be new IP.
Mm. So it's been confirmed that it is not Animal Crossing IP and not Pokemon IP.
Yeah, apparently.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
We
it
will.
might be an interesting game. We'll have to wait and see if it releases for current Switch or Switch 2.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine we're gonna have a direct early next year because
Yeah.
we don't really have anything for their release schedules for 2020.
Yeah, or if
Yeah,
anything it might be on both platforms
could
depending on
be.
if
It
it's
depends.
backward compatible.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, moving along. This third story is something that kind of made me really sad. Is the Prince of Persia Lost Crown. For those who don't know, Prince of Persia Lost Crown is a 2D Metroidvania side-scrolling that came out January of this year. It's a very good reviews. It was critically acclaimed. But apparently, word on the street is that Ubisoft has disbanded that team and there will not be a sequel. The sequel was pitched for the game and Ubisoft shut it down. And the team's been disbanded and the workers have been relocated to different projects. I didn't play Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. It was really high on my radar. The reason I didn't play it at the time was I was trying to play Final Fantasy VII Remake, the one that came out in 2020, to prep for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which came out like a month after. And since they were both very long games, I tried to like get ahead of it. So I did have this on like my backlog for this year, and I really wanted to get into it. And I did play the demo, which was about 2 hours, I think, either a demo or either a trial on PS Plus. I can't remember which. And what I played, I really liked the feeling. I really liked the Metroidvania-ness. And I'm a big like Prince of Persia fans from like back when I was a kid. Like Sands of Time is one of my favorite games of all time, and for sure one of my favorite games on the PS2. But unfortunately, man, it just got shut down, and the studio's been disbanded. And if you're like a fan of Rayman Legends 2, this is the studio that made that. So I guess it didn't sell enough. I mean, we've been saying this how many times? The word didn't sell enough. But yeah, I don't know, man. You got any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad because I think this was like the it's been a long time since the last Prince of Persia game before that, right?
Oh, must be like
Yeah.
2013 or something.
So I'm looking at it right now. It says The Forgotten Sands was 2010. So yeah, 14
Ooh.
years since the last Prince of Persia game, which is unfortunate because Prince of Persia is like pretty good IP. I do remember playing like Warrior Within and Forgotten Sands for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, the original trilogy was the original 3D trilogy on PlayStation 2 was Sands of Time, Warrior Within, Two Thrones. Yeah. Yeah, so that's sad, man. Then they had like a reboot in 2008. I mean, they've had a lot of smaller games in between.
yeah.
Then they had Forgotten Sands in 2010.
Apparently,
Yeah.
there's a Sands of Time remake in 2026, but I wonder
Oh
if that
yeah.
will get
Oh,
postponed or something.
that's the notorious Sands of Time remake. Do you remember anything about that when it was first revealed?
No, I don't.
That was revealed. Maybe I'll remind you if I'm sure you've come across it. That was revealed in 2020 on like a Ubisoft show, and it was actually supposed to release early 2021. And then it got like silently delayed, and then it got like delayed some more, and then it got delayed some more, and then after that it was just rumors. And then into 2024 this year on the Ubisoft event that they had in the summer for Summer Games Fest, they said we're rebooting the full thing because it was actually being done by a studio in India, in some Ubisoft. I don't know if it's Ubisoft Mumbai or whatever it was. But basically what happened was in the 2021 trailer, I'm sure you could go on YouTube and search it up, dude, it looked horrendous. It
Oh
looked
God.
terrible. Okay, yeah, like the graphics, like it was so uncanny valley. The art style was so weird. Everybody was ripping on it, and I think Ubisoft like took it to heart because I think Sands of Time is one of their babies. So they come at this point after several delays, it eventually got completely rebooted and got reallocated to I believe either Ubisoft Montreal or Ubisoft like Quebec City, which was actually the original developer of Sands of Time.
Hmm.
It got completely moved there, and it's starting from scratch. And then that's where they showed that at the event, at the Ubisoft event, that it was coming out 2026. Yeah, no, this game I think only got announced. The Lost Crown only got announced like 2023. Came out early this year. It's 86 on Metacritic. Uh,
Jeez.
yeah, it like I like a lot of like content creators and podcasters and streamers and stuff that like maybe I follow or listen to or stuff like that actually like consider this one of their games of the year so far.
Yeah.
And you could play the demo, man. It's actually very fun. It's so smooth. The combat is amazing. If you like anything 2D, like it's mint. But I'm just I don't know
Yeah. That's
what like
sad.
is it because they released it in January? Is it the price tag? Is it because it's a 2D and maybe people were interested in a 3D Prince of Persia?
Yeah. I think
What,
that was
what's
it for
the,
me. The
yeah,
2D aspect wasn't what I was really looking for.
yeah, maybe they should have done. I don't know, but anyway, it's like it's kind of unfortunate, man. I
Yeah.
don't know what the sales number were supposed to be for that. I felt like it was a little bit on the price. It wasn't a full price game, but it was a little bit pricier if I recall correctly. It was like something like $70 Canadian or $65
Yeah.
Canadian, right? So I don't know, man. It's
Yeah. I think it's kind of hard to sell something that you haven't made like a big game for 14 years and expect people to still be super
I
hyped
mean, I
about it,
guess at the
right?
end of the day, if you didn't grow up during the PS2 or the PS3 era, like what do you like? You don't even know what Prince of Persia is. If you're
Yeah.
14 right now, you haven't played a Prince of Persia game ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? That's crazy. Anyway, we can move along, man, and we could stay in the same kind of limelight because we got another news story from Ubisoft, which seems to be the gift that keeps giving. But this is story number 4, Ubisoft's Collector Edition, which is like the big thing. Now it's like 280 USD. I'm not sure how much it is Canadian.
Oh, it's something ridiculous. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
300 something bucks, I think, here in
so
Canada.
it actually got a price cut by 50 USD to like 220, I think it is. I'm imagine this thing is probably already all sold out anyway from when it went up for pre-order. So did they just give people their $50 back? I don't know. And the reason is because Ubisoft, after the whole debacle that they had like a month ago, we were talking about this, they just canceled the whole early access idea for their games. They canceled the season pass for this Assassin's Creed Shadow and delayed it to February. So I think this is as part of that cancellation of the early access and the season pass. They just dropped the price of the collector's edition by that amount.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think people were really buying it specifically for the early access and season pass anyways. I think a lot of collectors are buying it for like the ridiculous statue and the steel case and the art
100%,
book.
100%. And there's probably a middle tier version of the Assassin's Creed Shadows, maybe for like $120 or whatever, that has the season pass and has the has the season pass and has the early access anyway. So I don't know if those got a price reduction or whatever. Are you gonna go buy this collector's edition now? It has a price reduction.
Absolutely not. I mean,
yeah.
I don't need more statues in my life. I already have way too many collector's editions.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, we'll see what happens with Ubisoft, man. It's not sounding good. I don't know. Recently, it's just we've already reiterated about it for like numerous different news reports that have come out. I was actually reading the other day that, you know how we said the Guillemot family was trying to buy out all the other shareholders and go private. Apparently, you know how much that would be for? $1.8 billion, which $1.8 billion, keep this in mind, this is Ubisoft. This is the biggest third-party publisher, I think, in video games with regards to, obviously not revenue, but with regards to number of people that actually work for them. Keep in mind, Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard for 80 billion USD. But Sony bought Bungie for 3 billion. These guys are trying to buy their whole company back. So let's say 70% of the company for 1.8 billion. That's literally peanuts. That's nothing, especially for something like Ubisoft. Bethesda Games, how much did Microsoft buy them for? Like, was it 8 billion? I believe.
Let's.
And how much did Tencent buy that mobile game?
So 7.5 billion to acquire ZeniMax Media.
ZeniMax Media, right? Listen, Bethesda Game Studios is a big purchase and they're important, but there's no way, man. There's no way Ubisoft is worth 1.8 billion. Well, I guess that is what they're worth. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. Man, if this doesn't happen and Tencent ends up buying the whole thing, I can see them just like laying off most of the staff and just Tencent ending up farming out all the IP that they care about.
I mean, I think that's probably what they would farm really out the Far want Cry, anyways, right?
Farm out the Far Cry IP, farm out the Rabbids IP, farm out the Rayman IP, farm out the Assassin's Creed IP, theoretically. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they probably wouldn't want to keep that many people on staff, right? So
yeah.
Yeah,
man. Moving along, our next story here. Story number 5 is Netflix is closing their triple A studio. So for those who don't know, Netflix recently has been getting into gaming. It's mostly been indie stuff. So like if you have like a Netflix account, you could actually download specific games on your mobile device that you could play for free. Mostly they're like indie adjacent, smaller titles, but some of them are still pretty like critically acclaimed, lauded titles that you could do that through. But they also were trying to put their foot into AAA gaming, and they had a studio, which I can't remember the name of the studio. What they called
it's GameFile.
Game File, yeah. And they
Yeah.
had a bunch of people who worked on some previous project, Overwatch, the Grand Theft Auto trilogy, I think. People worked on for Bungie, I think in the
Yeah,
past, Halo
yeah.
creative director. Yeah, and so now they're just shutting up shop. I don't know if they even had a game announced or anything. I don't think they had any game
No,
announced.
I don't think so. So, I mean, obviously, Netflix's big games that people usually play mobile is like the ones based on their famous TV series like Stranger Things and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
their
yeah,
biggest title that I think GameFile put out was the GTA trilogy, but on mobile. So
yeah, yeah,
that's I think their last project. I assume that was really big. But yeah, in January, Netflix has said that their gaming division was like doing better than ever, and then here we are, fast forward to October, and they're shutting this down. So
wow, they actually
maybe it's
said
not
that.
as hot. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, the bar was so low, right? Like
yeah, yeah. I don't. You
for them to
think
step
maybe?
into it.
Do you think maybe it has something to do with Netflix not realizing what AAA development costs were looking like now? And they're like, actually, I don't know if I want to invest minimum $150 billion on a freaking video game. Do you think that might be it?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. And then also
Did I
to
say
bake
million
it
or
in the
billion? I said million, right?
yeah,
Okay, yeah,
like
go ahead.
yeah, like in order for them to create like a AAA game and then package it in with their subscription, which is also shared costs that would really have to go towards paying for their TV shows and their
Yeah,
licensing rights. I think it's kind of hard to get into that market with that type of revenue, right?
yeah, yeah,
Like you're probably wasted or you're spending years of development time creating this AAA game that has to run on so many phones, right? Like Android phones,
yeah,
iPhones.
yeah. I mean, we might be getting there that at the point of any new kind of model phones will be able to handle these, especially like
Yeah.
starting with the iPhone 15 generation of phones across. And there's plenty of Android phones that have the power. But was it also that, or was there like, did they ever plan on like actually putting games on? I can't imagine they weren't planning on putting games on like PC if they have a AAA studio and like PlayStation, Xbox, like just to become a publisher on those
Well,
platforms.
and to compete with Steam and stuff, I think that's probably just like a bad idea.
Well, maybe that's exactly what they thought, and that's why they shut it down.
Yeah.
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 I mean, it's a little bit unfortunate because like we won't be getting as high quality potential games on your phone. I'm sure that's what most people would have ended up playing it on anyways.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Well, we'll see. I'm not really sure how far they want to go, Netflix, into this video gaming stuff.
Yeah,
But if you're closing down your AAA studio, I don't know. Doesn't sound like you're really trying to push this anymore further.
yeah,
It
for
reminds me of
sure.
when Google Stadia had their. Remember when Google had their own in-house AAA developer for
Yeah,
Stadia that they were going to make a Stadia game with, and then just shut it down.
yeah, and
Yeah,
then
closed shop.
ended
Remember,
yeah,
remember
and ended
Google
up
Stadia?
refunding everybody. Yeah,
Remember Google's that's crazy, man. Google Stadia is crazy. Remember at the
that
time I
was
was like, don't
last
quit,
year,
let this
right? Or
thing.
was that this year?
Man, I don't remember. I just remember like I feel like it was 2019 when they announced Google Stadia,
Yeah,
and 2020 when it came out, and maybe early 2023 when they shut it down. Like
yeah.
early, like January.
January 2023 is when they shut it down.
Oof, see, I was on the money.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's last year. That's crazy.
Anyway, moving along. I think our last really big game that we have, or really big news story that we have here is, and I know this is not maybe exactly games. It's a little bit into movies, but Marvel is apparently dropping the Blade reboot movie from its 2025 release calendar. Um, and it was supposed to premiere November 7th, 2025. Is that what it was?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then so there's an actual Predator, two Predator movies coming out in 2025.
yeah. So, Predator Badlands is taking the spot for November 7th, 2025.
Oh, okay.
But then, the Century Studios president Steve Asbell revealed on an interview with the Hollywood Reporter that there's actually 2 Predator films coming out next year.
Next year too? Seems kind of
Yeah,
weird. What?
so Badlands will be one of them, and then the other one is like I think rumored to be like a streaming one, so like similar to how Prey was released.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I'm excited for that.
Do you like the Predator movies?
The last one was really good, Prey, and then the original one. But I mean,
What about Alien? Prefer Predator or Alien?
Alien, definitely
Oh,
Alien. Yeah.
yeah. I still need to watch that new one. Yeah, I still need to. What was it called? Alien what?
Romulus. It's out
Alien Romulus.
online now in terms
Was
of
it
you
actually?
can like rent it.
Maybe I
Yeah.
should watch one more horror movie before the end of Spooktober. But I really wanted to bring this up. I know this is kind of more movie, more film, Marvel stuff. I wanted to bring this up because there's a video game that's very high on my radar that I believe was tied to this Marvel's Blade film adaptation. Do you know about Marvel's Blade game that's being done by developed by what's their name? The guys that did Deathloop and Dishonored. Oh man,
Definitely.
why is my brain shutting down now?
Arcane
Arcane
Studios?
Studio, yeah, Arcane Leon, yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
published
yeah.
by Bethesda, right?
Yeah, so they're a developer under the Bethesda wing. So that means they're owned by Xbox. There's Arcane Leon and Arcane Austin. Arcane Austin, unfortunately, was one of the studios that got shut down by Xbox earlier this year. That was the studio that made the ill-fated Redfall, and
Hmm.
previously did Prey before that. Um, uh, Arcane Leon, his most recent game is Deathloop, and before that, I believe it was like Dishonored 2 or something. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think both of them worked on Dishonored 2. Anyway, but they did. I can't remember which event it was. I think it was Summer's Game Fest. No, it might have been Game Awards last year, where they just sneak peeked Marvel's Blade, and I was really I was really hyped. It's actually kind of probably one of my top 3, 4, 5 games on hype level that I have. But there was no it was kind of just a trailer, a cinematic trailer. There was no kind of release date associated with it, if I'm not correct. Um, but I thought probably it's going to be linked to this reboot movie for Marvel's Blade. So it might be that this movie is an indicator of when the game will come out. Now, obviously, they probably want to bring them to probably want to release them at the same time. Similar, like you watch the movie, you like the movie, you go buy the game, or you
Yeah,
buy the
yeah.
game, you play it, you want to go watch the movie. I'm not sure if they were already lined up to be similar release days. Um,
I don't think there
and
is a release date for Blade. I'm looking at it right now and no
the game,
official.
no,
Yeah.
no, there was. I don't think there was. Yeah, so that's why I was trying to be like, oh, maybe this movie is going to tell us when the game is going to come out. But it's
Yeah.
happened in the past where they don't line up when they try to do these things. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of
Happens all
really
the
what I.
time.
Yeah, kind of really what I was interested in. But I don't know. That Marvel's Blade game still looks like it's probably a ways away. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
I mean, the movie is probably just as far
Yeah,
away.
at this point, it sounds like the movie's just as far away. Yeah, but I really like the art style for the game. It looked really good. It looked like kind of Deathloop art style. And I remember playing this Blade game back on like the original Xbox. That was like super cool. So I was just kind of like thinking, man, I really would. I think Arcane Leon would make a really interesting Blade game.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so that's kind of it for the really, really big ones that kind of happened this last week. We could go through we have a lot of smaller news stories. We'll go through all these quickly, and then we'll get to the games we've been playing. So I think we talked about this last year. So this is our seventh story. God of War has a new showrunner. This is the God of War TV show that's being done by Amazon. Last week, apparently, everybody kind of either got fired or quit, or there was a full turnover of the studio. The showrunner left. All the producers and everybody working on it seemed to have been either fired or quit, and they were completely rebooting this thing. So it looks like Amazon's got it sorted out, and they have somebody new on the case. I don't
Ronald D.
actually
Moore.
Ronald D. Moore. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So he was part of the team for Battlestar Galactica and Deep Space Nine, but
Yeah,
he seems like he's got lots of experience. So hopefully he saves some of these. So,
yeah.
yeah, hopefully he saves this TV show because
I mean,
I mean
this
I want to see a good God of War TV show. Like it's always good to have some video game movies and shows turn out to be
that
really good.
yeah. I'm still kind of against this big time. I don't I just I highly doubt anybody's going to get the feel of God of War right. I'm just afraid that this is going to be a bad stain on the series.
Would you
Everything
be
else
more excited if it was an animated TV
100%.
show? Yeah,
100%. If it was like Cyberpunk Edge Runners or what's the one for League
League of
of Legends?
Legends. Yeah, yeah,
Arcane. Yeah,
Arcane.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'd be 100% more excited. I just don't know who the heck you're going to cast as Kratos. I just don't know what they're going to look like. You're going to get the makeup right. You're going to get the feel right.
yeah,
I Last of Us, I think, was great IP to turn into a TV show. Um, the Uncharted movie, I watched that one. It was okay. It wasn't the best movie, but it was still like it was a vibe, right?
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't. I'm not really sure how they're gonna nail God of War. This sounds like it's about as far away as the Blade movie, if
Yeah,
not further away.
probably.
Yeah, yeah. Um. So story number 8. This is our favorite developer, who is the gift that keeps giving. The day before devs, fantastic. Are they can So I think we talked about this 2 weeks ago. They
Yeah,
kickstarted a new like physics-based multiplayer game, and they had a certain amount of money that they were trying to hit their Kickstarter. They basically canceled that Kickstarter because they didn't hit their target.
yeah.
I
I
don't
don't
know
think
what
they
they
were
did with
even
that money.
close.
Did they refund that money? They made like 3 or 4 grand or something
I
like
think
that. And they're
so. I
trying to
think
get like
that's what happens when your Kickstarter fails, but they only reached $3,146 out of
and
their
apparently
$20,000 goal.
in the same breath, they canceled that game and basically announced a new game. I don't even know what's going on anymore with these people. Like, what
Yeah.
is? I don't. It doesn't even look like a scam because it's like, how are you guys even making money from this? Like, you're not. If your Kickstarter money is going back, if you're having to, refund sales, I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
What's the new game?
What are they working on? Action horror prop hunt game. Right? They're really scraping the bottom of the
I
barrel.
don't know. I don't know what these guys are up to. Like, it's almost like, is this just a joke for fun? Like, how are you making any money through what revenue? Who's gonna even want to work for you after like the day before
Well,
debacle?
volunteers, right?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't
I'd,
know.
I'd
There's no way
love to volunteer for them, you know?
you want to. I mean, I'd volunteer for them. Let's just get the inside scoop,
Yeah.
and then like drop a big news story. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exclusive
Anyway,
to the slow run cast.
exclusive to the Small Rockcast. Big news story drops. They're running a prostitution ring. That's what this is all about.
Yeah, they just need $3,000 to start this up.
Yeah. Moving along, story number 9, Tales of Kenzera Zhao devs Surgeon Studios seems to be putting their entire games team on hiatus due to lack of funding. Now this is the original wording that I saw when this news broke out, but and this is from gamesindustry.biz, but I did see another news story kind of following this a few days later, which kind of gave it a more positive like play. It was more like they've pitched their next game to publishers and they are looking for funding, and they already have a game, and I think it was like a gothic African folklore gothic hybrid. I can't remember the genre now anymore. But it was something along the line. So a couple of days later, there's a more positive turn on the story. Do you know about this Tales of Kenzera Zhao game, Derwin?
No, I've never heard of it.
Yeah. So this is also like a 2D Metroidvania side scrolling. And it came out in April this year, and it dropped day one on the middle tier subscription for PS Plus, which is I believe extra, and it had decent reviews. It wasn't anything crazy. I think it's like 76 on Metacritic. Actually, to be honest with you, the user score is kind of brutal.
How bad
Holy
is it?
smokes. 4.5. A lot of people are.
Jeez. Ooh.
Yeah. So
So
this
maybe
was
just play Prince of Persia.
yeah, for sure. If you're gonna play one, play a Prince of Persia. So for this one was actually it was originally published by EA Originals, the first game. Um, and the guy who's the studio head, he's actually a voice actor. I'm not sure if he's an actual actor. His name is Bubakar Salim. Uh, and I know him from being the voice actor of Bayek in Assassin's Creed Origins. So yeah, so he kind of had like this whole passion project where he wanted to make his own game rather than just acting on a game, and he started this studio up and pitched this game, I guess, and it was like yeah, it's in like an African folklore setting. It's about like somebody who loses their father, sort of thing, and he lost his father. So I know it was getting a lot of like coverage, like when it first got announced and leading up to its release,
Mhm.
like between December last year and April this year when it came out.
Oh,
So
he plays the lead as the so he plays Zhao, and he's also the game director.
oh,
So
okay,
very
yeah,
much a passion project for him.
yeah. Oh, it is for sure a passion project. Yeah, I want to see what else this guy's in. He's duh, 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 duh.
Oh, he plays some voices for Diablo 4.
Yeah, I know he does. Yeah, he does a lot of
Yeah, a bunch of Diablo
games
credits.
and TV. Yeah. Oh, I'm so silly. Of course, that's where I saw him. He's in House of Dragons season 2.
Ah,
He's one of the well, without spoiling it, the two bastard sons. Did you watch House of Dragons season 2?
nope.
Okay, never mind. All right. I won't spoil it. But yeah, anyway, he's in House of Dragons season 2. I've completely forgot about that. I remember like seeing him when I was watching with my wife and I'm like, "Oh, that's the guy who in yeah." So anyway, yeah, he does do voices in Diablo 4. Anyway, I mean, good luck to that studio. I didn't play Kinzerza myself, but if you ever want to give it a try and you got extra, it's
And you
there.
beat Prince of Persia, then maybe that might be
Yeah,
another
yeah,
option.
maybe you should play Prince of Persia first. Anyway, moving along. Story number 10. It seems like Guerrilla Games is completely done with Killzone. And this comes from Games Radar, and it looks like they had an interview with one of the studio heads.
Yeah,
I'll let you take
studio
the lead on this.
veteran Roy
Yeah,
Postma. Yeah, so
yeah,
it seems like he was giving some sort of interview to the Washington Post, and basically says that most of the developers are kind of done with Killzone as a franchise, and they're wanting a fresh like palette, and thus Horizon Zero Dawn. So seems like we won't be seeing a Killzone game from Guerrilla Games in particular for a while. I don't know if PlayStation will or Sony will change that in terms of giving Killzone to a different developer, but
I mean, it's been a long time.
yeah, PS3,
The last one came out
yeah.
on PS4. It was a launch title on PS4, Killzone Shadowfall.
Yes.
Remember, that was the last one, launch title
Oh
PS4.
geez.
Yeah, so Killzone was on PS2. Killzone 2 and 3 were PS3, and Shadowfall was I mean, if Guerrilla Games doesn't want to make that game, I don't want a developer to work on a game that they don't want to make. But
Yeah.
hey, guess what? You guys had the studio that just released Concord. You have Bungie Games. Uh, you have what is that studio that's working on Fair Games? You seem to have acquired and or created several studios that are meant for live service games. I don't know, man. I think Killzone would have done better than Concord.
Yeah.
Just a thought, right?
But you got to try new IP sometimes, and I think
Yeah, maybe.
might be
I mean,
hard to revisit Killzone.
everything comes to an end in the end, man. Nothing lasts
Yeah,
forever, right? Yeah. So, moving along, story number 11. Naughty Dog's next game, it seems like they're trying to lean into a more of a freedom approach, potentially open world, which I would have assumed that that was what their multiplayer was going to be, which got scrapped. So I don't know. Are they just going to make Last of Us 3 more open world-ish? I don't know how that is
yeah,
thematically going to work. Um, I'm not sure what your thoughts are
or
on that
maybe
one.
like sections of it being open world would be kind of interesting, perhaps.
Yeah. So for those who haven't played Last of Us Part 2 and Uncharted Lost Legacy, which are theoretically their two most recent games that are not remasters or remakes, right, of their previous games. It would have been Uncharted Lost Legacy would have been 2017 and Last of Us 2 would have been 2020. Um, both of those games actually experiment with a semi-open world sections in their linear game where the area you're playing in actually has multiple kind of tasks to do or things to explore in a non-linear fashion where you could go to, like, it's like you're in an area where you need to do this. You could do this one first, or you could do this one first, you could do this one first, and there's secrets in between.
Yep.
So maybe they're just taking that to the next step. And Last of Us Part 2 as well, even in the more linear sections, they actually the zones of exploration and combat were actually like larger. So there was little secrets in the corner and stuff as you go, compared to Last of Us Part 1, which was more narrow, more constricted, right? Um, Maybe that's kind of what they were tinkering with those two games, and they want to
Did
take the next step.
Did you like that open worldness, or are you okay with it being more open world if it doesn't take away from that
Uh,
narrative aspect?
I didn't mind it. It was okay. It was like a love hate because like part of me is kind of like obsessive with like finding everything. But then in Last of Us 2, in order to do that in some of the sections, like you would then need to play in a manner that is maybe not so efficient because you'll be like in a big combat section and there'll be like maybe up to 25, 30 enemies, right? And knowing that game, like you're short on resources, you don't want to get into a big gunfight with everyone. You want to
Mhm.
play with stealth and you want to maybe avoid them all. If you really want to explore that area, you're basically bound to having to kill every single person. So which means either doing it stealth or semi-stealth, and it takes way longer to do, or just getting into all-out gunfight, which if you're playing on harder difficulty, you're not going to win. So then you end up being like, well, maybe I shouldn't explore this whole area and I should just move along.
Yeah.
I found that a little bit. So I still don't mind it if it's at that scale, but I just don't know how Last of Us is going to work if it's any a bigger scale than that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my thing is Naughty Dog games are very story driven, and if they do take away from, if it pulls you out of that story, I think it does it a does gamers a bit of a disservice. Like if I'm
Yeah, yeah.
excited to get to the next part of the story, but then now I
Mm,
have to blow another 20 hours or 10 hours exploring this area to get the platinum, which I mean,
yeah, of course. That's your fault
of
anyway.
course
But
what
yeah,
we're yeah, of course that's what we want.
yeah. The slow run cast.
Then man, I don't know. I don't mind open world games, but I think I prefer open world games to be like basically like fully open world, like Horizon Zero Dawn or Ghost of Tsushima, where you can go back and kind of work on things. And sometimes with how the story works, it's very hard to revisit that unless you reload into the chapter specifically. So,
How do you feel about open corridor games like God of War Ragnarok, where you don't have a really big open world,
mhm.
but it's not strictly linear? There's kind of areas you go to, and there's like sub areas in those areas, and you could do it in a non-linear way. And sometimes those areas kind of open up a little
Yeah.
bit, and you could go left or right. I think maybe that is what they're trying to do here.
Yeah, I do prefer that. I just hate it when games make you make a decision, and then you can't go back to the other decision. Like, you know how if you take
Yeah,
this
like there's
path
a point
and then now
point
you
of no
can't, yeah, now you can't go back and
point of no
visit what
return.
would have happened if you went, like, you know, down the
Yeah,
other path kind of deal.
yeah.
Um,
I don't mind linear games. I don't mind like strictly linear games. I don't
yeah,
mind like open corridor games or open zone games or games where even though it's linear corridors, you do it in a specific order, different ways, like a Resident Evil 2, where like, yeah, you're in this mansion and it's just a bunch of hallways, but the way you go about the mansion is kind of up to you.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I don't mind open world games. I just think those are not key indicators on if your game is going to be good or not. Just
yeah,
because your game is linear doesn't mean it's going to be bad. It
yeah,
just,
exactly.
what are you going to do with that
Yeah.
linearity? Yeah.
And I'm just hoping that like the open world that they create isn't empty. I think that's
Yeah.
another issue with like giant open world games. You just kind of look around, everything looks pretty, but then if there's nothing to really do in it, then you're just kind of
Yeah.
walking around a map, dude.
Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get anything from that studio until like 2028 at this
Yeah.
point, which is insane. Um, moving along, next story. Apparently, as of September 2024, sales charts for the Xbox consoles are showing that the Series X is finally outselling the Series S. I mean, nothing really to say here. I just thought it was a little bit interesting. I know early days of the release of both these consoles, the Series S was for sure the bigger seller. I think it was also related to the fact that the Series X had more shortages compared to the Series S. You know, during the chip shortage situation that we had in 2020, 2021, that was affecting kind of all electronics. I think maybe the Series S was just easier to make. And I think that lower price point had a lot of people attracted. So I think that lower price point just kind of got saturated. Like whoever was going to buy one got one. And now it's like more people who are like maybe more serious Xbox gamers, but we're still on Xbox Ones or Xbox One X's, finally moved along to the Series X, and now it's finally outselling Series S. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. Just thought it was something interesting to point out. Any thoughts on that one?
No, nothing really. I mean, Series X now comes in white, so if people were looking for a white console, so that
Maybe,
might have been why. But
maybe people were, maybe people were trying to buy the digital only, or maybe people were trying to buy the 2 gig one.
yeah,
I got a little story for the listeners here about Xbox, but we'll leave it to the playlist. Yeah, so story number 13, Black Myth Wukong is actually finally getting a physical release on disc for PS5, and it looks like that Xbox is release is going to come soon. There's no release date yet, but there's an ESRB rating confirmed.
yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm glad it's finally coming to the Xbox for
I mean,
people that don't have a PS5 or a PC. I think it's a game that people should experience if they're interested in something like that.
but
Um,
that's the thing that's confusing me. Wasn't there a debacle about this 2 months ago about how what's their name, Game Science,
yeah,
was basically saying, hey, we wanted to put this on Xbox, but we had issues with Xbox, something to do with like localize, or what's the word for it, not localization, but
porting.
they were basically blaming Microsoft
Yeah,
low key for the delay on the Xbox. And then Microsoft turned around and said, BS. The reason it's not on Xbox is you guys have a exclusivity agreement signed. That's why it's not on Xbox. So then everybody was like, what? The Game Science has an exclusivity agreement with Sony that's secret, not public?
yeah,
Which I always thought was weird. I'm like, why wouldn't Sony announce that? They just released Helldivers 2, Stellar Blade, Rise of the Ronin, all from third-party developers that are published first-party by Sony. And they released, what's it called? Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is third-party developed and published, but is a Sony exclusive. Why on earth would they not, like, show that off? Why would that be a secret? That's why
yeah.
I'm starting to think that that was never the case. I'm starting to think that Xbox is BSing. I don't think Sony actually had an exclusivity anything with those people.
Yeah,
That's
I
crazy.
doubt it as well. I
Or
mean,
maybe it could be a short exclusivity window because Sony actually had the ability to have the foresight to see what was going on in China with that game and said,
mhm.
holy smokes, we could sell a bunch of consoles in China right now if we just pay these guys to get a short window of exclusivity, which is the case because like it was sold out everywhere,
Yeah, the
like the
PS5s.
PS5, because so many Chinese players were like, I need to play this game. So
Mhm.
maybe that's really what the play was. I mean, if it is, that's a big brain move. But personally, I'm excited for this because I held off on playing this game partially because I thought it was going to suck, and partially because it had a digital only edition. And I'm for any big AAA games, I've been boycotting any uh, digital only releases.
I mean,
I
Black
did
Myth
that with Alan Wake too.
wasn't just digital. In China, you can get a collector's edition,
Well,
and
but that collector's edition was actually still digital. You open up the case, it was just a code inside. There was no
oh,
disc.
was it?
Yeah, yeah. It was still just the code inside. There wasn't actually a physical disc in that collector's edition.
But it had a lot of
Yeah,
cool stuff in it. I would have
yeah,
bought
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Uh,
Um, so we got one more story, and that is Call of Duty 6 will have some type of pay for an additional customizable spatial audio. What is going on there? I don't know what's going on exactly, but does it sound like this is a pay to win situation for multiplayer? This story did break out a few days ago, and Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is now out.
yeah,
So what's the deal? I know it hasn't been updated yet, but
yeah. Apparently, people noticed that the Treyarch special audio profile was like a trial only, and apparently it's going to be like $20 if you actually want to subscribe to it. Activision hasn't confirmed this from based on what I read, but that would be kind of a big, edge to have if you're playing multiplayer, right? Like a lot of the pros will play with like headphones on so that you can hear like footsteps and stuff like that. And to have that special spatial profile that has like the best audio that you can get is going to be an edge for people.
so I am actually well, we're gonna get to it in the playlist, but we're both playing Call of Duty Black Ops 6. I am playing on that Treyarch specialized audio. I really like it. It's crispy. I'm not really the biggest audio you know, nerd, but it sounds great to me.
Yeah.
So
Would that be something that you'd pay extra for?
probably not, no. Can
Yeah.
you can you pay extra for some type of audio on Xbox, like the Dolby Atmos or something
Yeah,
like
I think
that?
Dolby
There's
Atmos. Yeah.
there's like a subscription service to actually get that
Hmm.
audio, right? What is
Yeah.
it? What is it like? Is it really that good that you want to pay an extra,
I mean,
whatever it
I don't
is?
have any Dolby Atmos speakers, so you have to have like speakers that support it as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it goes through eHDMI connection, and apparently it's supposed to like be richer and sound better. But I mean, I just use my computer speakers for most of my gaming, so I don't think I would pay anything extra for it. I'd rather
Mm.
spend money on better speakers than for a profile per se. But um, yeah, I don't know. Like this is just kind of weird that you have to pay for a special audio profile. Like that's
That's
kind of
weird.
unheard of.
That's weird. Maybe it's part of the Vault Edition or something. Because there's a Vault Edition for Black Ops 6, which is like whatever. I don't know how much more. Maybe I'm playing. Maybe test it out today. See if you could play on headphones with that Treyarch audio because I've been playing on it, and maybe it's because I have it on Game Pass Ultimate. Because I know there's some things on Game Pass Ultimate that I'm getting that some of my PlayStation friends aren't getting because I'm
Oh,
playing on
because of you're
Xbox.
playing on Series X.
Maybe I think so. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean,
so I think that's it. That's a lot of news stories, man. We kind of had trouble cutting this down because there wasn't anything we were like really, really wanted to talk about that bad, but then there was some of these that were like, I don't know, this still seems like we should mention it.
Yeah.
But uh, that's it. We'll take a short little break, and when we'll be back, we will be talking about the games we've been playing. So, do we really need to take a break?
No, we don't. We can
We
just
could
cut
even
it.
leave this part in the
Yeah, I'll just
podcast.
cut it out. Perfect.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back to the actually more exciting part of this podcast. I know we got to talk about news and stuff, but I really want to talk about the games we've been playing slowly on the Slow Run
Oh
cast.
yeah, real slow.
Real slow, real slow. Hey, so we got a few games. I thought maybe we'll just jump the gun, and we already jumped the gun, to be honest with you, during the news story. But let's talk about the game we've both been playing and the biggest release of the week, and potentially the biggest release of the year, probably. And that is Call of Duty Black Ops 6. So that came out, dropped Thursday night here, 10 o'clock Mountain Time. I was already locked to go, all loaded up. I've been playing exclusively multiplayer. I do intend on going in the campaign. That was actually the thing that got me super interested. But you've been playing campaign.
Yeah, I've
So
been
I'll let you start off.
exclusively playing
Playing
campaign.
campaign. So I'll
We
let you
had this
start
all
off.
planned out.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'll
the
let you start off with your thoughts. Yeah.
So for background on the campaign, basically it's the 90s and you kind of play as a ragtag team of mercenaries to try and hunt down a paramilitary group that has infiltrated the CIA. I think the fourth mission in. So that one is where it kind of leads to an open world scenario. So very similar to what we were talking about in terms of like The Last of Us Part 2 and uh, Uncharted Lost Legacy. There's basically kind of a map that you can do different objectives for and ultimately collect things to help you with your final objective.
That was actually present in Modern Warfare 3 last year, the Modern
Oh,
Warfare
was
3
it?
reboot. It was, and apparently that campaign did not get good reviews, and that was kind of part of the reason they hated on it. So I'm surprised to actually hear that there's a mission like that in this. But
Yeah, I think that I actually enjoyed it. Well,
okay,
I've got some issues with. I'm playing on PC, and I've got some issues with COD, but we'll talk about that after. But in terms of campaign wise, I'm actually enjoying this campaign. Like
that's good.
the
That's
last
exciting.
the last campaign I probably played was like the Black Ops 3 one. So it's been a
Yeah,
while, and I do have to say the graphics, I don't know if it's because I'm playing on like an OLED monitor, but like the graphics look way better compared to when I was playing on a
insane,
PS4. Like
insane. Yeah,
insane. The
yeah.
movement is way better. Like,
Whoa,
oh
man.
my
Yeah,
god.
so crispy, so like I was shocked. I've played Call of Duty before, but once I started like moving around, I'm like, yo, what?
Right? Like
This is crazy.
you lean over like a corner and you automatically kind of just peek out. Oh,
Yeah, it
love it.
doesn't feel it feels more fluid, more
Yeah.
watery. Even without the Omni movement, but the Omni movement is like an extra bonus, but even just the regular movement, the way you're like you look around the corner and the way yeah, man,
Yeah, it just
it
feels
doesn't
super
feel like
smooth.
it doesn't feel like clunky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even the
Yes.
people that I'm shooting in multiplayer, I'm sorry, I'll
Yeah.
turn it back to you, Beer, but they don't feel like they're as robotic. You know what I mean? Like when
Yeah.
you're looking at them as you're shooting them,
Yeah, they aren't doing
their
like the bunny
movement
hop
doesn't.
or you
Well,
know
there's still people doing the bunny hop and doing crazy stuff,
yeah.
but the fluidity of the movement doesn't feel like as jagged, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
what else did I want to mention? The cutscenes are pretty interesting. They have more dialogue options if you care to learn more about your team, which I found
oh,
to be nice because sometimes like you play these campaigns and it's just like this is an army type and that's a female army type and they all kind of like have the same personality, but this one you can really get to know them a little bit more. Like if you talk to them, there's like, hey, what's going on, or how did you know this person? How did you know that person? kind of deal. There is a guy that just reminds me of Lieutenant Dan from Forrest Gump, which I found funny.
Oh, actually,
Yeah.
that's hilarious.
Yeah, there's one point where he's like, "Yeah, if you buy these things, I'll set it up." And then he
Oh my god,
you buy it, and then it's like this other guy setting it up, and he just rolls in with a beer.
that's hilarious. That's
I'm like,
hilarious.
"Oh my god, you're not setting it up. You're basically just rolling in with a beer once the guy sets it up, and you take credit."
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's funny. I'm actually looking forward to that campaign a lot. Yeah. So when this first got revealed, to be honest with you, I actually was the other way around. I was actually kind of turned off by the what I saw, because I don't know, man. Like saying '90s, and it was showing Saddam Hussein, and then obviously I'm from Iraqi background, and I mean the reason why I live in Canada is because my parents ran away from Iraq following the aftermath of the first Gulf War. But so I thought it seemed like it was another like kind of American military propaganda thing where it's like Arabs and Eastern Europeans are bad and we're the good guys sort of thing. But then when it became apparent that actually it's kind of like a different take on it, it wasn't kind of like celebrating it as much as it was like there are elements of the CIA that are bad
Mhm.
and we're trying to infiltrate. I mean, I would argue that the whole CIA is bad, but but you know what I mean. But obviously, maybe they're not going to show that to an American audience, so they'll play it on saying, "No, the CIA is good and it cares about the security of the world and the United States, but there are elements of it that are bad that are trying to do things in the world for their own personal benefit, and we." Realize we are now working outside of the CIA to try and clean it up. Whatever. It's a cool, interesting take.
Yeah, I mean, it's more
Whatever
of just
you
like
want.
a setting, I guess. I don't think they add too much
Yeah,
commentary on like whether or not it was like a good thing or a bad thing. It's
yeah,
just where it's set. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I
It's
mean,
crazy. Like the Gulf War is like 30 years ago now,
right? I was like,
right?
"Oh, this is like weird." The 90s. I'm like, "Was this really what
It's
the
doesn't it
90s
feel?
was like?"
Yeah, does it feel crazy? It feels like
Yeah,
way too close to home, right?
right? Yeah, it
And
feels
it's
like it
just
was
kind
like
of like
10 years ago.
now I'm thinking like imagine the 30-year-old that was playing friggin' was there any Call of Duty in Vietnam? Has there been a Call of Duty
There
in Vietnam?
was, I think,
Was that
right?
World at War or was that a World War II game?
That's World War II.
There must have been like a 30-year-old
Wasn't Black
who was
Ops
like
3 technically set up in during
or
the?
Black Ops 1. Black Ops 1 was Vietnam a
Yeah.
little bit. It was like 60s and
Oh,
stuff, 70s, right?
So Cold War had two missions in Vietnam.
Yeah, but Cold War is more recent. I'm thinking like maybe there was like a 35-year-old who was playing like
Oh yeah,
a
so
Call of
yeah,
Duty
Call
game.
of Duty Black Ops is mostly set in the Vietnam
And he
War.
has
Yeah.
like Vietnam PTSD and he's like, this is too close to home. And he's like freaking out, right?
Yeah.
He's like, well, this is too soon, right? Like at one point in time, does a war become so far away that you could video gameize it and it's kind of just fun,
Yeah.
you know? World War II, I get it. It's like 60, it was like 60 years before the first like World War II games really started coming up to the surface, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now it's crazy. The 90s were like 30 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have a game about it, which
We
is
have a game
yeah.
about it. Yeah, it's kind of weird. But so far, you think good as
Yeah,
far as the
I'm
campaign?
enjoying the campaign. I don't care what
That's
anybody
crazy.
else says about it, but like, yeah, this is like probably one of the more enjoyable first person shooter campaigns that I've enjoyed. Because like, I think I tried playing the Battlefield one, and like
Yeah,
I wasn't a big fan of it. But this one,
the
I'm
last
actually kind of enjoying. Yeah,
Battlefield 1's one of my favorite games of like the last 2 decades and or decade maybe. What's it been? It was 2020, 2016. So it's been some time. But it's one of my favorite games of all time. And I didn't even play the campaign for it. Like I stopped playing campaigns for first person shooters, not because they were bad, but because I just like it was like the multiplayer was like that quick fix.
yeah. It's easier to
And
jump on.
the last Call of Duty campaign I played was probably it was either the first Black Ops or it was Modern Warfare 3. I think it was Modern Warfare 3, like the original Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah,
Yeah, from like I must have been in high school at the time. So I'm really excited to go back into this, and I might actively go and play some other Call of Duty campaigns if I really like it. Yeah.
That's commitment.
Um. Yeah. I don't know. Well, they're really short. They're like four
Yeah,
or
they're
five
usually pretty
hours.
short. I think this one is
Yeah.
only 8 hours long or something like that,
So
from
that's
what I
actually
read.
on the longer. That's actually on the longer, I
Yeah,
think, end of things. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think
Is
that's
that?
maybe if you're doing like all of the optional things on that fourth chapter too, because I think there's quite a bit of things to do on there. Like
Yeah.
the main objective is like you have to destroy 3 things, but like there's a bajillion other things that you can do on there, like pick up supply crates and like help other people kind of deal.
Yeah. Was that it? Did you want to? Did you have any other thoughts about the campaign, or
No,
can we talk
nothing
about
else for
multiplayer
the
for a bit?
campaign, but yeah, feel free to
Yeah.
share your thoughts on multiplayer. I'm probably gonna hop on that like after I'm done the campaign, but
Yeah, yeah. I think what I'm gonna do is just play campaign when none of my friends are online or something, and then play multiplayer and so just kind of piecemeal the campaign slowly and slowly until like if I go online and nobody's playing multiplayer, I'll
yeah,
just maybe play the campaign. So I hopped in right away in the multiplayer. I was really excited. It's been a while since I've actually, like I said, campaign. I haven't played that since Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer. The last COD I actually owned and played the multiplayer for would have been the first Modern Warfare reboot. So that would have been 2019. Um, Otherwise, I have played Warzone, but I never actually did the full thing where you purchase the full game and can play multiplayer. So I was really excited to get in. Oh man, and I tell you immediately, as soon as I played, the combination of just kind of the base movement and the base and the omni movement. Oh my god, man. I was actually bewildered. I'm like, maybe I just don't remember this game and this game's always been this good or has been getting incrementally good. I mean, a lot of these annualized games, sometimes like maybe FIFA or something, it's like you don't play it for 5 or 6 years, and then you play it after and you're like, whoa, you actually notice the difference. So maybe for someone who's been playing it every year,
yeah,
this is something they're used to. But for me, it was not something I was used to. I don't even remember the Modern Warfare reboot
yeah. I heard it was
from
more fast
2019
paced.
being this
Like
great.
this was probably one of the most fast paced COD games.
It's like fast paced, but then the maps I feel like are also slightly bigger by like 25%. So you also have the ability to kind of, because I remember like some COD maps, like they're so small and it's just like no matter how good my reflexes are, like I'm just getting like flanked on all ends. And even if I'm killing somebody, I'm getting killed right away. But no, there's like time to also think. And man, the Omni movement is insane, insane. Like I'm diving through these buildings and I'm like, doing a nosedive, turning like 90 degrees and shooting the guy that's behind the door. Or like, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's like I'm just diving and I don't even know where I'm going, but it's enough to screw up with the opponent. And I usually would play these games a little bit more slow paced and more controlled and more covering angles. But I've noticed that I've been kind of bad at playing COD that way. So I've just been like a lot more aggressive. So, I come in, I'm doing like a nosedive, then I slide across and I'm like doing a freaking 180 and then doing a 360 this way and jump, dive, jump. And then you could like sprint now backwards, which you couldn't do before. Like you could click the sprint button and move backwards and you'll sprint backwards or sprint sideways on either side and then dive while you do that or slide while you do that. And I think that's why it's called omni movement. Maybe
Yeah,
it
because you
means
can
like
go
a
any
direction.
direction.
It's crazy. And the base gun that they had on the first class that's not customizable, like how they have like base classes
Yeah,
and
that
then you
you have
get to level
to.
5 and
Yeah,
stuff.
you have to
Bro,
unlock.
that base gun was so crisp. I was so like hooked immediately. Man, I was getting hit by like dopamine where I was like, yo, this is not good. This is not good. Like this is messing up with my dopamine receptors. This is messing up. And I'm telling you, like when it dropped, I had an issue with downloading the file where I thought the file was downloaded, but really it was just this. They have this like launcher now.
Oh my god! Don't get me started on that launcher. I was
Oh
going to talk
my
about that at the
god,
very end.
man. I was going to smash my freaking Xbox because I tried like the day before to be like, okay, I'm gonna download this so it's ready for 10 Pacific time. And I went and I'm like, okay, it just says Call of Duty. I'm like, which one? And it's like, oh, you pick the ones you want to download. And I'm like, okay. So I went Call of Duty. I'm like, I guess that's the launcher. So I said campaign, Black Ops 6, multiplayer, Black Ops 6. And I come back the next day and I turn it on 10 o'clock and the launcher's there. And I go in and it turns out it just downloaded the launcher, but it didn't download the games.
Yep.
So then I was like, what? And then I press download. And then I'm like, okay. I'm like, I might as well download Warzone while I'm at it, right? So I downloaded Warzone 2. And then it's like taking forever. And I'm like, surely this is annoying. I'm just going to cancel this download, right? And then it should cancel the Warzone one, and then I'll re-download that. And I press cancel. No, what it did was it undownloaded everything. So when it came to downloading this stuff, I had to compartmentalize from the Xbox like Game Pass page or from the store page.
Yeah. You have to
it gave me the option to compartmentalize. But then when I chose multiple things at once, it couldn't compartmentalize those downloads. It treated them all as one thing to the point that when I actually canceled the download, it went back and deleted the launcher, which was already downloaded. Right? I'm like, what? If I canceled the download, it should just delete. So then I had to like re-download the launcher and then re-download the games. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I didn't get on until midnight on Thursday.
So I'm playing on PC, right? So when you open up Black Ops 6, does the launcher load first or does it just bring you to Black Ops 6?
No, the launcher.
Right? So, oh my God. Drives me insane.
You go on the launcher, there's no Black Ops. It's just the launcher. And then you have to go to Black Ops.
Yeah, I don't get why they do that. So on PC, yeah, same thing. You open up Black Ops 6 on the icon on my desktop. It opens the friggin' launcher with all the studios and whatever. And then you have to choose Black Ops 6. It closes out of the launcher and then relaunches Black Ops 6. Like,
oh my God. It's a little bit more seamless on console than that, but
like, come on.
I don't know. I don't understand the purpose it serves.
I think it might be anti-cheat related, but like, dude, I'm picking Black Ops 6 campaign. I'm not going to cheat on the campaign.
Man, the thing is, the thing that blows my mind, it's like it was one step forward and two steps back. It's like, okay, you made a launcher, okay. And then you compartmentalize these downloads because everybody knows these downloads have been getting so huge. Man, if you have a Series S, how are you even downloading this game on there? Is there even space?
No,
on the Series S?
Mine was 85 gigabytes for the campaign and the multiplayer. I didn't download any of the Modern Warfare or Warzone or anything like that.
I think if you download the launcher plus the campaign plus the multiplayer plus Warzone, you're looking at like 200 gigs.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Anyway, but I didn't do so anyway, but the thing kills me. I canceled the Warzone download because I was like, okay, this is stupid. Let me just download the multiplayer only so I could get in and I'll do this after. No, it went and like undownloaded everything. So I had to like download the launcher again. I didn't get on till midnight basically.
Yeah.
Which should have been bedtime, but no, I played till 2 a.m. And that's this whole thing that I got sidetracked about was because I wanted to mention the fact that like, bro, the dopamine rush I was getting was insane, man. It was crazy, man. Yo, they designed this down to the audio. The audio that happens when you like shoot
the gun. Yeah. Oh my God. It feels good, right?
Oh my God. It's like there's like and then you get like it gives you like this feedback of like you're hitting the guy, right? And then there's a special like audio, I think, for like headshot too. There's a special sound. It's like all this subconscious thing that's going on, right? It'll go, and then
I wonder if the DualSense controller has special vibration profiles.
I think it does.
I mean, I'm on a keyboard and mouse, so I'm getting none of it minus the audio, but the audio sounds so good.
The audio is crisp. I'm playing on Xbox Series X through Game Pass Ultimate. So I don't know what the PlayStation is like. I know for previous CODs that they did integrate the DualSense to some extent, but it was like a gimmick. After a while, you just turned it off because it would mess up with your ability to play.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Do any of your friends play on PS5? Have they commented on that?
There's friends that play on PS5. Maybe I should talk to them.
Yeah.
Maybe I should talk to them. I'll see what if I don't know if they have that vibration on or whatever, but I'll talk to them. I did notice that for some reason, I never noticed this before, but I felt like I was better on an Xbox controller,
Oh,
which is
really?
really weird. I felt like my aiming, unless the aiming in this game is like
I thought they took down
easier.
the auto aim a little bit.
I don't know if the gaming on this game is easier or harder, but I feel like I'm better on an Xbox controller. Maybe it's the location of this thumbstick
Oh, maybe.
being top left
Yeah,
rather
yeah.
than middle left. Maybe it's how something about that is just naturally better for me for movement. I mean, the aim button is still on the right
Yeah.
side lower, but I don't know.
Weird.
I felt like I was better. Yeah. One more thing. I was also telling my friend who we got on. I'm like, I need to get on right now. I need to get on 10 o'clock. He's like, man, what's the rush? We'll play. I'm like, no, man, listen. Launch day of any multiplayer game is when I shine. That is when I am at my best. He's like, what are you talking about? I said, bro, I have the ability to cook kids on day one. He's like, why? I'm like, bro, nobody's got any custom classes. Nobody has like all the attachments unlocked. Nobody studied the meta. There hasn't been any nerfs yet on specific guns. It's fair playing game. The skill based matchmaking hasn't really kicked in yet and put me in lobbies where I'm getting slapped around. Pure raw. Everybody gets in. Everybody's on the same, what do you call it, page? Play. And I'm going around. And I was the first few games, man. I was clicking heads. There was games where I was going like 40 and 10. I was like 2.4 KD. I was on fire that first day. But as the night went along, you could feel the skill based matchmaking kick in. And we started getting in games where I'm like, oh, this is getting a little bit like, and I would like check my stats to see what my ultimate all time KD is. And I swear to God, in one night, it was like going from like 2.5, 2.4, 2, 1.7, 1.6, 1.5. By the end of the night, it was like at 1.5 ish. And then we played the next day, and the next day I was played with lobbies with some other friends, and those guys, bro, some of them are like way better than me, way better than me, bro. The lobbies we were in were cracked. I was like, what the heck is going on, man? There was one game, I swear to God, I was like, yo, bro, am I playing Rainbow Six Siege? How the hell do these guys know the map this good? It was like a controlling like points map,
Control point, yeah.
like yeah, I don't know what it was, like domination or something like that, dude. And there was like buildings and there's open area. I'm like, bro, are these guys playing Rainbow Six Siege? Like, bro, these guys are coming in from this window. I'm getting grenaded from this side. I'm like, what is going on, bro? This is insane, bro. How do you have this studied this way? Yo, it was nuts. We had one guy on the other team who we noticed was like 29 and 0. And I think 30 and 0 is you get the nuke.
Jeez.
So, bro, we had 6 people in the lobby. It was all together, all of us in the lobby. We all booted out of the lobby at the same time just so he doesn't get his nuke.
Yeah.
We left the game together. We ruined his.
You
Oh my
ruined his
god.
life.
Yeah.
It's probably on stream and
Um.
he's going like these people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically, long story short, Mo just likes destroying 12-year-olds on on
Yeah.
launch day.
Yeah. Launch day. That was it. Now it's done. Now I think my KD last time I checked was like 1.07. It's starting to fall down dramatically. Now speaking of Call of Duty, I want to mention something that just happened to me yesterday. My Xbox Series X, a few months ago, maybe a year now, my little boy comes downstairs one day, sees the button, presses the button, gets that feedback, that sound, and that light, gets so excited, presses the button off again, keeps pressing the button on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. And I was like, yeah, you can play, little buddy. And he's laughing, he's having a good time. Then I'm like, wait, man, maybe this guy's going to fry the circuits. Stop. So what I would do is I'd just unplug the console from the back and just so he'd come press the button, it wouldn't do anything to it. So when I want to plug it in. One time, a few months back, it happened whereby it does this thing where it actually happens pretty often, but one time it happened like for a long period of time where you try to start it and the light comes on and it makes the startup sound and then doesn't start. I'm like, what? And then it'll try to start itself back up and then doesn't start. And it'll try to start itself back off. 5 seconds, it'll turn off. It happened that time. It happened Friday, before I got on and played with the boys It happened for a little bit, and then it happened last night. The 2 previous times, or any other time that's happened before, usually I just play around with that. Nothing even like constructive. Like I'll press and hold the power button until it fully powers off. Maybe I'll unplug it with it from the back. I'll do something to it, and then it'll actually power up and boot.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine. So I thought maybe something's wrong with the way the HDMI is connecting to the TV, or maybe something's whatever. Last night, no sir. That was it. Wouldn't work. This morning, I tried to do it again. Same thing. I'm searching online, and it sounds like the power supply got fried for a console I've only had for 2 years. Maybe my son is guilty of causing this damage. Now I thought, okay, whatever. I'll call Microsoft. It's going to suck. It's going to take long for them to ship it back. We'll see what happens. I call Microsoft. Yeah, have you done this? Yeah, sure did all of it. The lady was super nice. Well, you're going to have to send it for servicing. How much? $430. I was like, lady, I can go on Facebook Marketplace right now and buy a used one for $350. You're telling me to service this thing because the power supply is fried? $430? I was bewildered. I'm like, who are you even getting to fix it? Are you sending it to the States? She's like, no, you send it locally. I'm like, okay, who are you sending to locally? She's like, let me see. And there's a place called Video Game Repairs in Edmonton. And there's another place called Mobile Clinic, which has branches in Calgary, but apparently the only ones that fix consoles are in Edmonton as well. And I go on this video game thing, and it's like video game repairs, and it's like 2 to 3 weeks out. It's a lot cheaper. It was like $160 or something, plus like shipping, but it was like 2-3 weeks out. I'm like, oh my God, whatever. Anyway, man, I kept looking around. I kept searching, and I found this place called Cell Phone Repair Clinic, CPR, in Calgary. I called the guy. I'm like, bro, I think this power supply's fried. He's like, $160. I'll do it in 2 hours. I'm like, okay. I did search online, and you could get the part from Alibaba for like $40, but that takes like until mid-November.
Like 2 weeks
But
or 2 months.
you could get it from Amazon next Thursday for like between $70 and $100, depending on if you want the repair kit with it. And then the actual repair is not that intuitive, not that easy. Like you really got to pay attention. I watched a YouTube video. But anyway, like 2 years I've had this thing, perfect condition. Like I'm not putting in any bad situation. I think maybe my son did that when he played around with it too much. But literally $160 is going to cost me, and Microsoft would not cover anything. They're like, it's out of warranty.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
rough
I'm
news,
surprised.
man.
So anyway, bro, I was like, I need to get this fixed now. I need to play COD. Like, there's no way. I'm like, there's no way I'm waiting.
Yeah, you gotta stay up till 2 again today and play all over.
Yeah, I should probably sleep. But I was like, yo, I need to play.
Yeah.
Anyway, we talked a lot about Call of Duty.
One more thing to add. Just a side note, I don't know if it's my computer or not, but I'm running into DirectX errors. Like I'll play like a mission, or I'll play like on that open map, I'll play like 2 of the objectives that you can do, and I'll crash. Like, no idea. Apparently it has been happening to some people, so PC, figure out your shit, I guess. I don't know, but I assume you're probably not running into that issue with the Xbox.
No, nothing like that.
Well,
I know my friend was having trouble with shaders. He's on PC, but
yeah. So maybe it's that. Who knows? But just as a side note.
Yeah. Anyway, that's Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Positive things from both our ends so far. So we'll see how we feel about it in the coming weeks. So we're back. We took a 4-hour break because my wife had to go somewhere and I was with the kids. And your sister came over. And then, so I have an update on the Xbox situation. I go to the store to pick it up. That said they were going to repair it in 2 hours. Guy calls me. He's like, this is not a power supply issue, and I have no fix for this. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I go there, and he's like, this is, who the hell's calling me right now? Yeah, he goes there, and he's like, I go there, and he's like, yo, this is a motherboard issue. I don't remember if he said your motherboard's fried or not. Maybe I just made that up, but I don't know. Isn't that what that means when you have an issue with your motherboard?
Yeah.
So I'm like, are you serious? How? Man, this has never happened to me with any console in my life. And I take pretty decent care of this. Aside from the story of my kid going to town on the power button, which I suspect is probably actually the issue. But yeah, man. So I was like thinking about what I would do. Do I just buy COD on PlayStation and just forget the Series X? Because I was like, you know what, man, the way it's
Game
going with
Pass
X.
gone to waste though.
Yeah, but then I'm like, I have 3 months of Game Pass, and Stalker 2's coming out in November, plus Microsoft Flight Sim, plus Indiana Jones in December. I'm like, that's kind of why I lined up this Game Pass subscription. Plus Avowed in February. And I'm like, yeah, I know all these games, the way it's going, are all going to end up coming to PlayStation. But I was like, oh, you know what? Just let me just go and get one. And then I was like thinking about like where to get one from, and I was looking online, and man, I have no issue buying something used off Kijiji, like at all. But when it comes to consoles, I'm just looking at these ads, and like one guy's like, my case is cracked. And this guy literally looks like somebody took like a sword to the freaking side of the thing. I'm like, what? And then like one guy's thing is like, so it's like as if a cat came and just was like needing its paws on it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what? I'm like, what? And then there's like one person who's showing it off, and like, dude, the fudging fingerprints on it. I'm like, yo, look what, there was one guy post a picture of it like sitting on a hardwood floor that's like destroyed. And I'm like, I just think about like I buy a used console, and like the guy who was playing with it before me, just like he's eating like Cheetos,
Yeah, the Cheeto
drinking,
fingers.
yeah, and he's drinking beer and dripping like drips of beer on the controller, and like Cheeto fingers, gets up to go pee, doesn't wash his hands, like
Ooh.
comes back, and I'm like, he's like smoking cigarettes in the thing, and it's going down the thing, and then like all his like his pet is like using it as a resting spot. All
Scratching
this stuff.
post.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh, it's so gross, so gross, so gross. And I was like, yo, you know what? The only place that's still open on a Sunday at like 7 is Walmart. So like I'm literally on the way to go to the Walmart to pick up, and there was only, apparently they didn't have them. The only one I saw that had was Sage Hill, and I go to pick it up from Sage Hill Walmart, and I'm on the way, and then I called you, and you're like, and I completely forgot that you moved back to your parents' house and you're in Kincora, which is like right there on the way, and you're like, bro, just take mine. I've been using it as a footrest, and I'm like, oh shit. So I literally just went, I saved money and I bought yours. There we go. Now you don't have to use it as a footrest, and I could
Yeah.
find a better home. I still get to play COD tonight.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I barely use it now that I have my PC anyways, so
Honestly,
I'm glad.
once you have a PC, man, and you get like anything Xbox, like just becomes PC Game Pass, right? You could just use that if you really
Yeah,
want to.
exactly.
Yeah, so it just becomes kind of redundant. The only thing is, I imagine if you have like multiple like consoles in your house, if you have a huge house and you have a family room and your
Yeah,
personal
I've got to have
bedroom, whatever.
five Xboxes in my house,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
five PS5s for each of my
5 days.
TV.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so we kind of left it off at our thoughts on Call of Duty. I think we're both pretty high on it. So I imagine I'm going to be talking about it more next week,
Yeah.
and
I
maybe
think we'll
so
have
are you.
final thoughts by then. I
Yeah,
would have
yeah.
tried the multiplayer and probably
And I
finished my
would have probably
campaign. And
tried the campaign by then. So maybe even tried zombies, even though I'm not much of a zombie guy. But yeah, we got some more games on our playlist. Do you want to go first, or should I?
you can go first.
Yeah, I don't have that many more new things. The other new thing I've been playing this week is Super Mario Party Jamboree. I love Mario Party. It's kind of like a fun family game. My wife loves Mario Party. I have a few friends that I'll play it with, in-laws, stuff like that. It's a good time. I played the other two Mario Parties that were on Switch. I believe one was Super Mario Party and one was Mario Party All Stars or something like
Yeah,
that.
All Stars. Yeah.
Yeah, the Super Mario Party was the one that was supposed to be Switch Mario Party, and then the All Stars was the one that was like the compilation of like a bunch of other Mario Party games. So yeah, I mean, I we played once on Friday. I picked it up on, I believe, Thursday or Tuesday or something like that. I can't
Mhm.
remember. And anyway, my sister-in-law and her husband came over, and obviously my Switch that's neglected was like dead, and so were the controllers. So I had to like wait and charge these controllers. Uh, I unfortunately I don't have a good clear picture of the whole game. We just all we did was play like mini games for like an hour. We were like, oh, it's kind of late now. Maybe we shouldn't play a whole board.
Yeah.
Let's just run the mini games. That's usually what happens with me with Mario Party. Usually I'll play the main game and run and play some of the boards. And once I've played all the boards and kind of seen what happens, I kind of am not sometimes a fan of the luck with the dice roll thing and somebody steals your thing or they give random stars at the end of the game to random people because they did
Pity
you landed
points.
on yeah you rolled 5 more times than anyone else. Here's a star. Like what? Yeah, so but I am a fan of usually the mini games, most of them. Some of them are unbalanced BS that literally like either give an advantage to the one who goes first if it's like a turn based or the one that goes last.
Mhm.
But otherwise like I like a lot of the skill based games and whatnot. So we played like maybe I think probably around 20 of the mini games. I think there's like 105. Like we literally just started up we went to the mini game hub and then we just started up the randomizer and all it did was just randomize and keep track of
Was there a
whatever.
lot of new mini games?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's all new that I saw. Some of them obviously are kind of comparable to other ones you've seen in
Yeah.
other Mario parties for sure. Uh, but they're all new. And I think most of them I had and out of like the 20 from 105 that I played, I'd like, positive like vibes about it. There was one in particular that actually stood out. It was like a Wario game show and it was almost like mini games within a mini game. Like the whole mini game was like you played several mini games, and the one who won the most mini games won the mini game. In you know what I mean? Like it was mini
Yeah.
games within a mini
It's
game.
kind of
Like
interesting.
it's like you get points from winning the mini game, and they're mostly like guessing. Like it'll be like, here's a snake. Which one's the longest snake or the longest caterpillar? And it's like whoever gets it first gets 5 points, and then the next one will be like guess how many we have of this. It'll be like it'll flip like different symbols and you could see like it's mostly like you have multiple choice. They're multiple choice games and you like pick one of the four, but the fastest you pick the correct answer you get more points too.
Mhm.
Then you run like 8 rounds of that to actually get the final score of the mini game. So that was like I was kind of like, oh, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
mini game within mini
Yeah,
game.
yeah. So I don't. One thing I do. I'm kind of disappointed is they had on Mario Party All Stars. They had this game under the mini game kind of hub where it's like a tic-tac-toe game where every time you win a mini game you could place a block that's in your color on this like big grid, and you could actually if you like if let's say I have a green and a green on the bottom row and you come and place your blue piece on one side and your blue piece on your other side, you'll get all my points in the middle. So it was like a combination of like winning mini games but then also like playing this bigger tic-tac-toe game and like trying to like beat your opponents to get more of these blocks. I kind of wish they had that there because I actually played the heck out of that game mode on All Stars. So yeah, that's all I have to say about it now. Again, I haven't really played any of the boards and stuff, so I'll be playing it probably in like not like it's not like I'm gonna just pop it up and play it on my own. It'll probably
Yeah.
be like a family thing with the wife or when people are over, maybe friends are over, something like that. And
Yeah,
maybe
we've
I'll
got
have
some
more
long
ideas.
weekends coming up, so
Oh yeah, yeah. So that's Super Mario Party Jamboree. I have two other games that I played this last week. I've already talked about both of them before. I just want to reiterate and maybe give some final thoughts. So I finished Neva, and I got the platinum trophy on it. Probably took me like 5 hours. This is just to reiterate. This is the game from what were they called? Studio Neva. So the game is spelled Neva Neva. And it is by Nomada Studio, which I believe are out of Barcelona. Um, we talked about how beautiful this game was last time. I was like 3/4 the way when we talked, finished it, got the plat, loved it, amazing. I can't recommend it enough. I would play both Gris, and Neva Neva, which are both from the same developer. The I would say the big difference between the two is Neva has combat, and for maybe a beginner gamer, that combat can be a little bit complicated. But there is a setting where you could kind of turn it off or dumb it down. Um, Anybody who's trying to get into indie games, like I would say these two games are probably one of the top 20 I would recommend, or even top 10. Very short game, beautiful art style, beautiful music, uh, emotional game without really even having any dialogue or anything. You just amazing, amazing game. I can't recommend enough, and it's 100% for sure gonna be on my short list of like games of the year. I think by the end of the year,
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of games beating it at
Hmm.
this point. And I
And the
know you.
combat was pretty challenging too.
It was challenging. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
the
know you.
final boss was pretty hard.
I know you finished it as well. Did
Yeah.
you want to add anything about that,
No,
or
no, just
basically?
yeah, highly recommended. Like I usually don't play too many 2D games, but this one was great.
Yeah, it was such a vibe.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's Neva. Another game I've been playing is Warhammer 40K Space Marines 2. I believe I've already talked about this for kind of like 2 weeks in a row now, and you yourself already talked about it before that. Um, so the only I would say the difference between now and last week, I kind of have final thoughts. I'm kind of done with the game, and I dropped it. Me and two of my buddies, shout out to Mosey and Joad, we finished the campaign on the second highest difficulty all the way through. We then played all the operations, which there's 7 of them. Like the 7th one was a new one that got added in an update. Um, we played those on the lowest difficulty just because there's actually there's like upgrading settings when it comes to like there's like unlockables when it comes to playing operations, which is like co-op PvE missions. So you can't just jump into the harder difficulties. You just be outmatched. You don't have the equipment for your guns and whatnot. So played all those. Believe on the lowest difficulty for the first 5. Then we bumped it up a little. Tried all the classes to get an idea of what they're like. And then we decided, okay, well, we've done all that. And we also kind of felt that we were going to really hop into Call of Duty. So we're like, let's just play the multiplayer. Let's give the multiplayer a try. 2 of us were on PS5 and one of us was on PC. And this game was, at the time, like the big thing was advertised as like a cross-play. I guess maybe, I mean, I'm not going to try and blame the developers, but maybe we didn't read it properly, the small print. Turns out this game does not have crossplay for the PvP aspect. The developer said it was like a balancing issue thing from their end, which I don't know if I agree 100%. I mean, I get it. It'd be harder to balance between I don't know. It's like a third person shooter. There's a long time to kill. I don't think. I mean, I don't know why this game doesn't have crossplay and just make it an option. Like if somebody doesn't want to play against PC players, turn it off,
Yeah.
right?
I
But
mean, if you're gonna build it in, you might as well build it in and just add that little option. And then if you have friends that play on PC, then you're not.
yeah. So honestly, like big disappointment, big disappointment. We were literally excited to get into it. We got on and it was like, nope. So I guess what happened was me and the PS5, my PS5 buddy, we ended up playing it by ourselves, multiplayer for 2 nights, I believe Tuesday night and Thursday night. And we had fun. It's not fun. It's a pretty fun multiplayer. I don't think it has like really crazy legs to maintain a player count for a long time, especially for a $90 game. And the whole package, I guess, is supposed to be mostly like multiple things. It's like a
Mhm.
third of the game, really. It's not the game. Um, but yeah, there's like a team deathmatch mode, and there's like an almost like a King of the Hill mode, a domination mode. Um, you know, yeah, it was 3 game modes. Like the upgrade. By the way, the upgrading is like crazy. Like there's a lot of stuff to unlock, and it's class based, so it's almost like a hero shooter. And the classes really do matter because you get like different. Like you can't just use any weapon from anywhere. You got to be a class. You can only use these weapons, and you only have these abilities. And the abilities play really interesting, even a PvP setting. So yeah, we played it for 2 days, and I basically said I think I've had my fair share of that game. I'll move on. So I guess in the end, I don't know. I in the end, I think the multiplayer might have been the funnest part actually
Oh
for
yeah.
me. PvP. Yeah, it might be maybe like just recency bias, but I really did enjoy the multiplayer, and I'm kind of sad we couldn't play it some more. The operations, I don't know. I just like I couldn't imagine playing the same 7 missions over and over again and upping the difficulty every time and just changing the class every time. Especially since it took like forever. It felt like it was forever to upgrade anything or get any unlockables. And the campaign I already talked about, I think the first half was a little dry. It does pick up a little bit after. I don't know. All in all, this game is kind of maybe it wasn't really for me. It's kind of
Yeah.
like a 7 out of 10 at best for me, at least. But I mean, everybody each to their own taste. So anyway, that's my final thoughts on Warhammer 40K Space Marines 2 or
Yeah.
Space Marine 2. Yeah. Anyway, that's it from me. I guess I want to mention a couple things. There's a game on my radar that I didn't mean to play this week. It just didn't happen. It's called Fear the Spotlight. It's from Blumhouse Studios. Spooky horror game with a PS1-esque kind of style of graphics, polygonal sort of thing going on there. From again, I think I said Blumhouse Studios. Their first kind of entry into the gaming world. They do mostly movies. So yet to report on that. I did also pick up my copy that I pre-ordered like 3 months ago of Alan Wake 2 deluxe edition, and the DLC, the last DLC, the Lake House, just dropped on Tuesday, and it's part of this deluxe edition package. Unfortunately, leading up to Alan Wake 2, I didn't do my homework and play the first one, so I'm probably not going to touch that right now. It might sounds like it might be like a winter break thing. Maybe I'll play the first one and then hop into Alan Wake 2 after that.
And Silent
So
Hill too.
and then thirdly, I have still not hopped into Silent Hill 2. I've just been getting pulled away by like so many other things, but I don't know. Looking at the release schedule going forward, there's not much coming out besides not until like late November that I'm really interested in. So hopefully, I'll play Silent Hill 2 in between. Maybe I'll
Yeah.
play COD campaign first. That'll be my single player time. And once I'm done COD campaign, I'll just play Silent Hill 2 if nobody's online multiplayer for COD, and then play COD when we got teams, right?
Yeah. I mean, shorter campaign, so it should be pretty doable.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, that's it for me. I'll let you take the stage there. You got a couple more games you wanted to talk about?
Yeah. I mean, just the main other game that I played this week, A Quiet Place, The Road Ahead. Oh
Yes,
God. So you guys are
yes,
probably watching, if you're on YouTube, you're watching the footage of me playing. And man,
yeah.
this is this has a lot of issues for me. So the premise is that you play as a female protagonist, and um, you're just in the setting of the quiet place. So if you make any noise, these monsters from space will come and kill you. So very interesting game in theory, I think, and in the movies. If you ever watched A Quiet Place, um, I I just have issues with like the main character mainly and kind of the gameplay. So yeah, you're playing as this female protagonist. She's got asthma, she's pregnant, she's a klutz.
Oh, are you saying that it felt like they were forcing some check boxes?
Yeah, not really forcing some check boxes. I think they were just adding like way too many things that could like potentially trigger the monster. Like
Oh, so
it's just
they're
annoying, and like you have to like take a puff of your inhaler every like so often, and you have to like find these pills, and then like the monsters are kind of like a little bit rigged in my opinion. You'll like move along, and then it seems like it knows where you are even if I'm like standing completely still.
so you're not a big fan of spooky games, so I was kind of surprised that you actually hopped into this. But did you
I'm
find it scary at all, or
No, I don't think it was scary at all. Like the cutscenes when you die are a little bit like, oh, the
gruesome?
monster gets really in your face, but like really, I'm not scared of things are more sci-fi-ish. I'm more worried about like the paranormal stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, this to
Certainly
me
helpful.
wasn't like scary by any means. Yeah, I was just like really annoyed by
Yeah.
like just the things that would like really trigger the monster. Like, so there's this one thing where you can like put down planks, and like I don't know if like the developers thought about it, or like if this main character is just dumb, but like you kind of put it from like 90 degrees, like I guess parallel to you to like the floor, when you could really just like slide the plank over, you know? So like I didn't realize that, you have to like slowly move the buttons, so drop it gently. And I just like the first few times I just like let it go because I wasn't pressing any buttons, and it just kind of fell on its own. I was like, this is not really smart. And like dust will kill you because you have asthma, and it triggers your intense asthma if
Oh my
if too
god.
much dust is in the area. I'm like, come on, guys. Like, really?
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And the
Because
gameplay is
it's
kind of slow, to be honest.
walking simmy?
Yeah. Like slow walk sim because you have to walk slowly.
Oh, so that you don't nothing hears you.
Yeah. And then
Hmm.
I didn't even bother with the microphone gimmick because I was like, really? You're going to do the microphone, you're going to do the asthma, you're going to do like sounds in the game, you're going to do
So, is it
do
is
planks, the doors, you have to slowly open doors too.
you did not really like this, did you?
Oh, I did not. I'm not gonna finish it. So
You're
like
not gonna finish it? How far
I
did you get in?
played like about like the 2 hours that I needed for the gameplay just to kind of show everybody,
Get a
and a
vibe.
lot of it is literally just me walking super slowly through the world.
Oh my god. So, is this kinda sounds like maybe an Alien Isolation like? Is that what it's trying to
Yeah,
do?
yeah, I think so. A lot of people compare it to that. I've read some other reviews saying that it's like easier. I'm like, I mean, I don't know if it's maybe easier or just annoying because I don't know if they would have like so many things that could potentially trigger the alien or the monster or whatever is trying to kill you, right?
That's
But yeah,
so weird.
I was just thinking in my head, like, this girl deserves to die.
Oh my god. I kinda
Like,
I
if you've
kinda ha
got that many chronic illnesses,
You're not making it out, honey.
you're not
You're
making it out. And like, the whole thing is like, basically, she's pregnant with her ex or her boyfriend's, her deceased boyfriend's like baby. But then you later figure out that you also killed that guy's dad, and then the mom is trying to like hunt you down. So like
What?
maybe just you
Your
know
ex-boyfriend's dead, but you killed your ex-boyfriend's father, and now your
yeah, so she made some noise
future
apparently.
mother-in-law.
Yeah, she made some noise, and then the monster killed the dad earlier on, because you start at day like 119 or something like that. So it, like, kind of jumps
Oh.
back and forth, and then you're also the reason why your boyfriend is dead because you're klutz, and she like
Oh my
stepped on
god.
some wood and it broke, and then something fell out of her bag or something like that. I remember like watching it, I'm like, man, you kind of deserve it.
So, why was this I mean, this game was not really on my radar to purchase, but I was aware that it was coming out, so it was
Yeah.
on, like, the list of things that I was keeping an eye on. I didn't realize it was gonna be so big with streamers, like, why did all the streamers, like, pick it up all of a sudden and everybody was talking about it?
I think it's kind of just like a scary fun game because you can't you there's no way for you to kill the monsters.
Mm,
Not in terms of how far I played. There's like a little sound meter that you have to kind of help track your sound. So yeah,
mm.
and also because I think just the movies are pretty popular out there, right?
Yeah,
So
I've never watched any of these movies, so
yeah, the first movie is really good, directed by John Krasinski,
Mhm.
Jim from The Office.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Actually,
his
oh, I remember
first
I knew this.
director
I knew
debut.
this. I knew this. Yeah, I knew this. I don't but I just didn't
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know when you know, like, a piece of information, they just delete from
yeah,
your
yeah,
head?
and it stars his wife as the female lead, Emily Blunt.
Oh.
So yeah, it was a great movie when the first one came out. I watched the prequel to it recently, and it was like a little bit more boring. But
Mm,
yeah, maybe because I watched it at home and I didn't have like the full effect of like being in a theater and everybody's quiet.
mm,
Yeah,
uh, interesting. Yeah. So this is a 68 on Metacritic, like critic review score,
yeah,
but 7.9 user score. So it sounds like the critics kind of were more in the line of your kind of thought, but it seemed like it did a little bit better with users.
yeah,
Except I see some really, I mean, you always see nasty user reviews. User reviews are either people give a game a 10, even though it's an 8,
yeah,
or people giving a game a 1 or a 0, even though it's like maybe probably a 6. Like one guy's like Alien Isolation ripoff.
yeah. I mean, it basically is very similar to that.
Mm,
Um, I mean, I was just like really not impressed with the gameplay, and I just had issues with kind of like holes in the story, and really just like,
mm,
please don't make me do a walking sim,
mm.
a slow walking sim. I honestly wish they took the path of like a Telltale game, so make it more like,
Like Until Dawn, or like The Quarry,
yeah, or the
or like
werewolf or something like that, just so that you know, I really want to. If I want to experience the story, I want to really experience it just like from a narrative
mm,
perspective and not like have to sneak around with this monster,
mm.
right? I don't know.
So,
I think I would have preferred more of a Telltale Signs like style game for this, but
but the hour you played of Silent Hill 2 freaked you out enough that you just completely dropped it. But this, you were just like, this is
yeah, I mean,
boring.
honestly, I was just like not impressed with what I was playing, and like it
Mm,
was kind of annoying.
mm.
Like every little thing. I know that some people like really hate like the lock picking mechanics to like Star Wars Outlaw. So imagine that with like opening doors, opening drawers, um unscrewing screws from a vent. Like you have to like actually do it.
Oh,
Yeah, it wasn't for me. I just don't think.
well, that is A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead, I believe, on PS5, Series X, and PC.
Yeah.
Series X and S came out October 17th. So, what is the other game you got here on your list?
It's actually not a game. It's a movie. I thought I'd bring this
Nice.
up. So,
I
Transformers 1. Do you know
that
anything about
is
this
it.
movie?
Wait, don't tell me that's the reboot of the Transformers, like from the movies from the 2020, like
No,
late
no.
early 2010s. No,
No, so
am I?
this is an animated Transformers movie. So this goes all the way back to like
Oh, I
Cybertron.
kind of heard of this. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it's doing pretty good, I think, review wise. I don't know how it did on box office. Probably not very well because it is a
Oh,
fully animated movie with no live actors.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So the premise of this is that we go back to before Optimus and Megatron were actually Transformers. They're kind of known as like I think GoBots. They're basically mining robots
Mm,
without the ability to transform, and they go on a path to kind of find out what happened with all the primes before. And yeah, it was a great movie. Chris Hemsworth plays Optimus Prime.
ooh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson plays one of the supporting robots.
Keegan
And
Michael Key's
yeah,
in
Keegan
this.
Michael Key plays Bumblebee.
Holy
Yeah, yeah.
smokes!
So it's loaded in terms of voice actors, but
Lawrence Fishburne. Holy smokes!
yeah,
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
it
I didn't
it's
even know
probably
about
one
this
of
existence.
it's probably one of the best Transformers movie that has recently
That's
come out.
yeah.
Maybe minus like the Bumblebee movie. That one was pretty good, but I
I
really enjoyed this one. I thought it was just gonna be a movie I'd be kind of just watching in the background, but
really
I
was.
actually like
It's 89%
watched
on
it.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Holy smokes!
So
That's not
I'm
bad at all.
hoping that this. leads to more fully animated Transformers movies.
Transformers movies,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
DC does their animated movies super well. It doesn't translate to live action. I think this might be another scenario where an IP does way better in terms of storytelling when it's animated um,
Hmm.
versus a live action. And
Hmm.
the budget's so much easier to hit, right? Like, or to keep under control.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. No, that's good to hear. It's
So
good to
yeah,
hear
I
when
just wanted to highlight that for everybody. There's a lot of like small Easter eggs in there as well for Transformers fans, and I think it's like a must watch. It kind of is like, I don't think it follows canon, so this is like a new addition. But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Nice. So that is Transformers 1. Since I didn't plan on doing this, but since you're talking about movies, I'm going to just shout out 3 movies that I've watched since the last time we talked. Actually, one of them I'm not sure if I talked about. Might have. Anyway, so I've been, because it's spooky season, I have been exclusively watching horror movies. Uh, and I have 3 since the last time we talked about. One of them is called Strange Darling. This came out this year. We rented it on Apple TV Plus. I would say it's more of like a thriller horror, like more suspense horror. It's not like supernatural or jump scary or anything. But I cannot recommend this movie enough. It is about a kind of like a it's about a serial killer that goes on a series of murder sprees. And the way the movie thematically works is it has chapters, but the chapters aren't in order. And this is done intentionally to kind of actually create a different perspective on this movie. Like for the first half of the movie, you think, because the way they're giving you the information, chapters 3, I believe it's like chapters 3, 5, 1, 4, 2, something like that, 6 or something like that. You think the movie is going in a specific way, but because of the way the chapters come out, but actually it's entirely different. It's entirely different. And I I don't want to go too deep into it without spoiling it, but it's I can't recommend this enough. It's definitely, if you want to watch something on the horror side, something on the suspense side, something on the thriller side, but don't want to watch anything that's super gory or disgusting or just shock value, I would watch this.
Hmm.
I would watch this for sure.
Yeah, it's on my list to
That's,
watch as well.
is it
Um,
actually?
yeah. Actually,
Yeah,
I think I do have it saved on my list because I do like
sweet.
thrillers.
Yeah, yeah, it's really good. Strange Darling. Um, I believe we already talked. Actually, now that I'm looking at this, we already talked, I believe, about last time about Late Night
You
with the Devil.
Oh yeah,
We did. Okay.
that
Okay.
was great.
So that's really all I have to add since the last time we talked there. That's the movie I've watched since.
Yeah. No
Yeah.
kids movies. Just
Nope.
kidding.
Nope. Nope. No. Yeah, that is Strange Darling. I don't know. I rented it on Apple TV Plus. I don't know if there's anything else on it. Well, I didn't rent it. My friend Hamzi rented it. He's the one who rents all our movies, man. This guy comes over and we're like all watching a movie together, and he's just like, "Oh, bro, don't worry, I'll rent it." We're like, "Yo, this guy's rented like $50 worth of movies for us over the last year." He's like, "Bro, don't worry, $5, it's nothing. It's a coffee. I'll rent it." Yeah, so, yeah. I have a few other horror movies I want to kind of watch before the end of. Well, I don't know why I do this. I could watch them whenever, but I'm just kind of getting the mood and like
Yeah.
and like even in the fall, like September, October, November. Yeah. So that's it from me. I think we covered a lot, man.
Yeah, it's a long episode. I think we're
Yeah,
at
I think
like probably a minute or an hour and 50 minutes or something.
an hour and
So
50 minutes. Yeah.
that
Well, we didn't do what we said we would do. We
under
showed
an
up
hour and
time.
40, yeah.
Yeah, no. I do want to shout out there was one other big release that came out this week that I don't think either of us had a chance to look at. That's Shadow times Sonic times Shadows Generations.
Yeah.
I know you think you were a little bit more interested in than
Yeah.
me. I
Reviews were good,
probably
I think, for it. Quite
I
good.
think so. Yeah, I could search it up. But I'm not. I don't think 3D Sonic is my thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it's 80. critic score and 8.9 user score. So
Yeah,
that's pretty wild.
it's pretty
Yeah,
solid.
it's pretty solid. Yeah,
Yeah.
just a lot of things going on right now. So definitely not something I'll pick up right now.
Yeah.
But maybe one day. I don't know.
I think if I can finish COD, I did
You
get
did download
Metaphor.
Metaphor.
Yes.
Yeah. So
So
you're gonna be 200 hours in before
I hear
I
it's
come out
only
of
like
the
a
game.
60-hour campaign. So I'll see how it goes.
Bullshit.
I
60 hour if you skip all the dialogue and fast forward through the days or whatever.
I might have to speed run that.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'll give it a good try. Like I said, I'm kind of like persona'd out for a little bit, so I do want to see the class system.
I only hear good things about this game, man.
Yeah, but I've still got too many things that are like also in the back burner. Like I can't believe I wasted my time with the Quiet Place, but I had to give it a fair share.
Too many games on the backlog.
Yeah.
I don't know. You got Horizon Remastered next week.
That one there's no way I'm not playing through it. It's like in 4 days now in the time of recording.
Yeah,
but
I'm curious. I want to see you compare it to the base game.
I mean, it's going to be the same thing, but better cutscenes and.
Yeah. Are you gonna do Lego Horizon on the 14th of November?
I think I might wait for that one. Yeah. I'll wait for a sale on that one.
I have some games that I'm just keeping my eye out on, but there's a possibility none of these are like day one cops.
Yeah.
And honestly, up until like I know the Rise of the Golden Idol, I'm a little bit more interested in it, but I haven't even played the Case of the Golden Idol, so I can wait for both of those. Until Microsoft Flight Sim on the 19th, I might just be playing COD and hopefully Silent Hill.
I do hope that the Horizon Zero Dawn save will transfer over, and that way I can play it in the ultra difficulty, because I haven't beaten in the ultra difficulty yet.
I try to play that game in the ultra difficulty. It's wild.
It's I think I played like the first hour like in ultra, and I was like, man, I'm getting my ass handed to me.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, I think it's meant for you to play after you gain like all the resources and unlock a lot of the stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's it for this week.
That's it. Yeah. Thanks for joining us, guys. Next week we're gonna run our regular show. I know you're off the week after that. And Sundays has kind of been the day we've been recording, right? You're gone from the 5th to the 12th.
Yeah.
So